खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह. Thank you, Sangat ji, for joining our weekly discourse here at Sangat the Divine Light. Thank you to my brother River for leading us into that mantra meditation, for grounding us in the spirit and the love of the One Divine. Throughout this discourse, Sangatji, stay true to your mantra meditation. Whatever mantra you've adopted, recite that mantra throughout this meditation, throughout this discourse. But let's center our mind, center our thoughts, so we can understand these divine teachings that have been passed to us throughout the scriptures, so that we can try and implement these in our life. Sangatji, over the next 2 weeks, we'll be speaking about karma, pronounced karma, and exploring what this karma is and how we can change it. And then next week, we will look to go deeper into this subject of karma. And we will have some discussions about how it interplays with reincarnation, how karma really affects those things, those experiences that happen within our life. Throughout the Eastern scriptures in particular, there's one central concept of karma and reincarnation. And with the Guru's blessings, we will try and engage in this in what will be a very beautiful session, hopefully, with the Divine's blessings. If we ask Guru Nanak Dev Ji, they tell us about this one universal principle. This principle that's so deep within our existence, that is central to who and what we really are. In Japji Sahib, Guru Nanak Dev Ji tells us this: Ape beej ape hi khaho, Nanak hukmi avho jaho. You shall harvest whatever you plant, Guru Nanak Dev Ji says. And within the command, the hukum of the Divine, we come and go in this play of reincarnation. As Guru Arjan Dev Ji says, Avan Jan ek khel badaya. Coming and going is this massive game that the Divine is playing. What Guru Nanak Dev Ji, what the true Guru, Satguru, is reminding us here is that the energy and intentions we place in our thoughts, in our words, in our virtues, in our work, in our activities, in our relationships, all of this shapes our outcome. It shapes our destiny. It shapes who and what we really are. So if we understand this, Sangatji, nothing happens by chance. Nothing happens by any sheer coincidence. But everything happens as a product of our conscious and many times our unconscious decisions that we're making continuously. Whatever is processed in this mind, whatever is developed by our thoughts, will take effect in our life, and they'll become who and what we are. They'll become our consciousness. Only those things that involve the mind, Sangatji, will become our nature. The product of all these thoughts, the product of all these decisions that we make, is what we refer to as karma. We often think that karma is to do with our bodily actions only, or those physical actions that we do. But these do not necessarily make any imprint on our life or any imprint on our soul. The bodily actions that we do don't necessarily change our character. They don't necessarily change our thinking. Any of these things will only have an effect when our mind is involved in the action. To explain this, the Guru has said, your present thoughts and your associated action with those thoughts, those things that you're doing right now, they're creating an impression on your mind. And that impression on your mind will then draw similar situations in the future. So the present thoughts and actions that we're doing right now are creating an impression on our mind. This impression on the mind will allow us to draw similar situations in the future. All of these thoughts, all of these actions is what we refer to as karma. So everything's a product of the mind. Everything we do is through this mind alone, but where this mind isn't involved, no imprint, no record will be recorded on this soul. We speak ill of people sometimes. We listen to someone's negativity. If we hold on to these thoughts and emotions, these impressions will be recorded on our soul. And from their numerous vibrations, numerous thoughts, countless karma will develop, even just from one instance. But equally, outwardly, we may be chanting Vaheguru, 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 Allah, 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 Ram, Ram, Ram. But where this mind is not listening to that mantra, where the mind is not involved in that spiritual act, ask yourself, Sangatji, what effect will that have on our soul? Only the sponsoring thought that is hiding behind all of those actions will eventually become our nature. Only those things in which the mind is involved will make who and what we really are. Now let's try and explore karma in more detail, Sangatji, and find out exactly where it sits within this universe and the importance within our spiritual lives. Throughout the Japji Sahib, Guru Nanak Dev Ji has referred to this whole universe, this whole expanse, as operating within the hukam of the divine. Everyone is within this hukam and no one is outside of it. As Guru Nanak Dev Ji says, Hukam hai andar sab ko, baar hukam na koe. Nanak hukam hai je bujha, taum main keh na koe. Everything is within the hukam and nothing is outside of it. The conflict, the strife, those problems and difficulties we experience in our life, these occur when we push back or try to live in ways that are not in line with this hukam. Guru Nanak Dev Ji has used this word hukam, which translates as divine order or command. However, do not see this as someone sitting on a throne just saying yes or no to things. This hukam, this Tao, this dharma, this is a natural process, Sangatji. A natural, ever-flowing process that happens automatically. I see this as a mechanism, a really efficient mechanism, something that's efficient, it's lean, it's happening automatically. Just like when water falls from the sky, it evaporates, they form clouds in order for it to rain again. Such an efficient system. In the same way, hukam is a natural stream. It's ever flowing, and we are flowing with it. Within this system of hukam, the law of karma sits. So you have hukam here, and underneath you have karma. Within the system of hukam, the law of karma is perhaps the most central and pivotal process of which this whole universe functions automatically. It's this process that allows us to experience who we are. And it's this process that allows us to embark, to journey on this internal quest to experience and unite with the divine once again. Guru Nanak Dev Ji, again in their words, has said, Karmi karmi hoi vichar, sacha aap sacha darbar. Within this hukam, within this system of the divine, they've devised this process of karma. And within this karma, there comes a point where we have a self-evaluation. The soul evaluates itself. In accordance with that vichar, that evaluation, in accordance with that judgment, as some may call it, the soul continues on its journey, trying to find who and what it really is, trying to experience all those wants and desires it's accumulated and imprinted on its soul. The soul continues to experience whatever's been printed, whatever it's recorded. As Guru Nanak Dev Ji again tells us in the Japji Sahib, Punni papi akhna nahe, Kar kar karna likh le jaho. Virtue and vice, Guru Nanak says, doesn't come by mere words or actions. It comes by our repeated intentions. And these repeated intentions over and over again is what's engraved on our soul. In other words, our repeated intentions develop our actions. They develop our habits. They develop our very nature. These repeated actions and statements are then recorded on the pages of our soul. And then these travel with us and they influence our future experiences. These all make up our karma. These all make up what happens to us, the decisions that we make, what we like, what we dislike, the people that we encounter, the things we choose to do, the things that we don't choose to do, the things we stay away from. All of these become our inherent nature because they're based on a multitude of experiences and ideas and thoughts that we've etched upon our heart, on our soul. This is the process of cause and effect and interpretation. What do we mean by cause and effect, Sangatji? This is the relationship of one event making another happen. So imagine the first being the ripple in the water and the second being the wave that comes from it. Or imagine the gravitational pull of the moon causing the tide of the sea. In the same way, the pull of Maya, that gravitational pull of Maya, this illusion, has an effect on us. It causes those frustrations in our life. It causes us to push us away from our divine essence. Everything has a cause and effect, and then the way we interpret it becomes our reality. So Sangatji, when we understand karma in this way, when we understand karma in this way, through this simple idea of cause and effect, there comes to a point where we will not see a difference between the divine and our free will. Because we'll come to understand that the divine will, this hukam, this universe has established cause and effect. And within that system, we now have the ability to make those decisions, choose our actions, establish those perceptions, define who we are. Our mentor, our guide, the one who's inspired us all on this journey here today, Baba Jaswant Singh Ji, they would often explain this interaction between hukam and karma. And they'll say the following example. They'll say a farmer may plant some seeds and grow some grapes. The farmer could put all effort into making that grape, but only the divine can add that taste, that rust to that grape. And so the juice of the grape, that rust, comes from the divine alone. But then take that grape. We can either turn that into glucose, or we can convert that into wine. In the same way, Sangatji, this life is a sweet opportunity for us, just like that grape. And through our decisions, through our actions, through our attributes, we can either press that grape and develop a spiritual essence, or we could lose ourselves in this illusion of Maya. The choice is ours. Karma is only possible because of the divine's natural order, because they've created it, they designed it as such. And so on this level, everything happens automatically because the divine allows it to happen. But we receive whatever we've inputted into that system. Our output is directly related to what's been inputted into that system. So what exactly influences our karma? What exactly influences our mind? The first, Sangatji, is what's known as the universal mind. And this is our spiritually centered mind. This is what's come from the divine source, our scriptures, the words, the instructions, being in the present of the enlightened masters. This is what's known as the universal mind. Then comes the subconscious mind. This is a place of impressions and suggestions. This is where we store all our memories, our hopes, our desires, all the things that people have said to us in the past. We might not actually remember it daily, but they're there, they're hidden. The things that we developed over countless lives are also stored here. The places we've traveled, the people we've seen, the things we've heard. This is where all our memories are stored in the background. This is where the records of our life and our greatest influences are stored. And this is where our thoughts based on our inputs result in actions. It's from our subconscious mind. Then lastly, we have what's known as a collective mind. This Sangat is our environment, the world that we live in, the people that we live in, the people we associate with, where we work, where we play, where we talk, our work, our interactions. All of these will continually create vibrations in our life, vibrations in our mind. This is why Sangat, the Guru has told us, they've always pointed us to finding a true Sangat, that true company, that true gathering, those true people that will inspire us, that will nurture us, that will motivate us, that will incentivize us. Because all of this Sangat, those people that we associate with, will focus and influence our collective mind. That mind becomes a mirror image of the Sangat it keeps. That Sangat will first affect that collective mind. Wherever that mind serves Sangat will become our reality. Listening to others, our emotions will be defined by that environment we live in. And how we react to those emotions will have a ripple effect on everybody else around us. Jaise seve taisa hoye. We are the company that we keep. So the Guru says, guard your Sangat. Guard those interpretations, those impressions of the mind. Ask yourself, are your thoughts or decisions based on your higher consciousness? Or is this based on the illusion? With each and every step, do that internal inquiry, that vichar. Is this going to complement my spirituality or not? The scriptures inform us to guard well your thoughts. Because anything heard, even subtly, has the ability to become our future karma. It will be stored and has the ability to become our future experiences. As the Gurbani says, Chet mood man mere ant nahi kich tera. Always be watchful of your thoughts. But they go a step further, the spiritualists. They instruct this mind to be even conscious of those things that we're thinking about, but also those things that are stuck in our unconscious mind. Those things that we might have stored and just forgotten about. Even these are creative. Even these fall into that cause and effect cycle. Because everything has a cause and everything has an effect. Whether this is intentional, whether it's unintentional, each has a cause, each has an effect. This is the law of action, reaction, then action. In accordance with this law, Sangat, everything you see in this physical world has a cause that's within us, in our inner world, in our inner mind, where our karma is actually born. These words that even we hear casually will be stored in our subconscious mind. They create an impression. These impressions create our collective mind. Then they permeate, they become our environment. We then create a link between the visible and the invisible. And in this way, because of the things that we thought about, because of the things that we're experiencing, we create our capacities, but we also create our limitations. The type of Sangat that we keep, what we watch, what we listen to, all of these create our limitations, but they can also create our freedoms. They either allow us to arise and give birth to an existence we live in, or be delivered back in the form of karma to us later on. All of this karma arises from our mind's interpretations and nothing else. This is the essence of the power of thought. This is the power of our emotions, Sangat. And this is why the spiritualists, the saints, they say, look, do not get lost in bad experiences or good experiences. Embrace everything. Be open to everything. the good and the bad, because these are all products. These are all products of your choices. Remove those judgments of whether something's good or bad. Just experience it in the here and now. Whatever's happening in the here and now are all products of what we've chosen at some point. And when we remove the judgment from what's actually happening, we can change our future. And in the same way, Sangat, the divine is not far from anyone. The divine is near at hand. However, due to our karma, due to our perceptions, we sometimes perceive the divine to be completely far away, completely distant. As Guru Nanak Dev Ji says in Japji Sahib, Karmi apu apani ke nede ke dur. According to our actions, some sing they're far away, some sing that the divine is right here, right now. Our mind, our soul is either sitting in the divine's presence or is chasing fleeting experiences. Therefore, due to the decisions we are constantly making and constantly taking, we either move in unification or we remain separated. To remain separated means to continue to live within the existence of Maya. To remain separated means to continually create a multitude of wants, desires, judgments, thoughts, and perceptions. This results in our soul journeying around through countless lives just to experience these wants and desires. All of these are recorded in our soul and simply travel with us in our future experiences. And the soul then actively searches for these experiences. The karma, we sometimes call this pre-written, or we say we get what's predestined. When we're talking about what's predestined, we're talking about that karma that's previously been imprinted, previously been sketched and written on our soul. And it's this reason why we have reincarnation, Sangatji, and we will explore this deeper next week. But this is how the law of karma and reincarnation are intrinsically linked with each other. Because of the number of experiences and what's been written on our soul, and because we run out in this lifetime to experience everything that all those wants and desires that we've been looking for craving, we come again and again and again until this soul simply forgets its desires, forgets its wants, and realizes its true purpose. And this is the root of our continued suffering, Sangatji. Let's ponder on this for a second. What is suffering? Our suffering is our natural alarm clock, Sangatji. It's telling us that we're overthinking. Not just that we're overthinking, but we're hurting ourselves by the things that we think about. And if we don't listen to this alarm clock, and we start to accept this suffering as being a part of our life, then this pain will start to become quite normal for us, and we'll see no way out of this pain. When we believe our thoughts instead of what's really true, we will start to build all sorts of emotional stress, and that emotional stress is what we refer to as karma, as suffering. And this karma is extremely destructive. These thoughts might be invisible, but soon they will become visible. They'll start to manifest. They'll start to appear right in front of us. Imagine a storm, the destruction that that storm causes. In the same way, those storms, those frustrations that we keep in our mind will start to become visible. The unseen becomes seen. A person that goes around with so many frustrations and anger, eventually that anger will come out in a physical form. Those that are plagued by jealousy, by hatred, their jealousy and hatred will start to manifest in with their interactions with others. People who are experiencing greed, anger, frustration, pride, ego, all of these will manifest in their external existence. But equally, if we're focused on love, if we're focused on compassion, if we're focused on forgiveness, if we're focused on tolerance, if we're focused on love, or we're focused on devotion, all of this what becomes our nature, that starts oozing from us. The thoughts we have will impact our health, our well-being, and everybody else around us. But Sangatji, if there's anything to take away today, it's this. When we suffer, we may feel that damage is on our heart. We may feel that damage on our mind. We may feel that damage is permanent. It's not. Everything, our karma, all of that will pass. It's just something that we have to go through and experience. And when we meet that wisdom of the Guru, when we turn our concentration on the Shabad, on our scriptures, on our spiritual discipline, when we allow our seva, when we're serving the divine, when we're in our mantra practice, we start to find that starts absorbing our troubles. That starts absorbing our pains. We then realize that these pains are not eternal, they're going to pass. And through the Shabad, through the power of the Shabad, through the Sangat, that's where we will find our true healing. And that even in the toughest times, that love of the divine will just grow intensely within us. So what can we do, Sangatji? We try to understand what our karma is. We try to reflect on the past. We try to think about the future. No. The biggest thing, the greatest thing that we can do is to protect our present. Protecting our present, protecting this present moment, simply changing your reaction to things, changing and protecting those thoughts and those decisions that we're making in the here and now. We can't do anything about our karma of the past, Sangatji. Wherever it's happened in the past, we will have to experience. Wherever we've etched on our soul, we're going to get anyway. But we can end our suffering by choosing that happiness now, by embracing it. We can end our suffering by choosing the divine now, by embracing the divine. By not being a victim to the past, we can end our suffering here and now. Each and every one of us, Sangatji, each and every one of you has that key to your own healing. You have the key to remove that hurt and that trauma and all that human conditioning that we developed that continues to sit on our mind. These will continue to impact us. They'll impact our emotions. They'll impact our feelings. They'll impact our behaviors until we travel inwards, until we start to do that introspection, when we start trying to find the Shabad within us, when we start coming to that place of self-compassion, where we start to love ourselves internally. Take the support of the Shabad, Sangatji. Learn to let go of those things that are troubling you, even if it's just one at a time. And with this, we'll start to love again. We'll find that awareness and we'll start to break this chain of karma. We can end our suffering by just simply understanding that no one's doing anything to us. Everything that's happening is because of something that we've created at some level. So if we don't want to endure that anymore, change what we're creating. Change our perception of it. Remove the effect of those past actions in this way. Through the Shabad, we will rise above those karmic experiences and return back to our true home. The Shabad will raise our vibration beyond this physical existence, beyond this material world, beyond our negative experiences of our karma. It will cut away our suffering, and it will save us in the here and now. The only way we can change any of our actions is if we change what we're thinking about it. Our mind is on a path, and if we change that consciousness, what's programming it, then we could truly find what lies within. If we understand that inherent divine power that each and every one of us has, that's flowing through each and every one of us, we can unlock that divine potential. And with the support of the Sadh Sangat, we can get that inspiration, that love, that motivation to walk on this path of the divine, to take those steps that we may seem completely unusual and alien to us. Our thoughts are live, our thoughts are creative, our energy is moving, this thought energy is moving. We have the power to change that here and now. We say that In a day, we might think up to 50,000 times a day. But how many of those thoughts do we actually retain and remember? We may only have 8 or 9 dominant thoughts that have the greatest impacts on our day. Now, clearly, we can't do everything about those 50,000 or so that we thought about in a day, but we can act on those dominant thoughts. And it's these dominant thoughts that will have the greatest shape on our karma, on our actions. All our actions, all our decisions are based on these dominant thoughts. To tame these dominant thoughts, we first need to observe them. We need to recognize them. We then need to consider which ones are plaguing our mind, and then focus on removing their control out of our life. If we then control these, then our unconscious thoughts, those that are not dominant, will also be controlled in time. Worry about the dominant thoughts first. Bhai Sahib described it in this way to me. They said, if you have 20 horses, you cannot jump on all of them. You can't control all of them. Jump on the leader, control that, and then you've controlled the others. Control the dominant thought, and the random ones will also fall into place, fall into line. And we may not realize this, Sangatji, but just by sitting here, forget doing anything, but just by coming to sit in the Sangat, we're changing our future, we're changing our perceptions. And then imagine what change we're doing with our daily meditations, with our daily Sangat. We're continually, actively reinventing our dominant thoughts. We're changing that cycle of thought. We're changing that cause and effect and interpretation. We're removing that negativity and building new and positive impressions, which will in the end lead to our freedom, lead to that liberation, that stability of this mind. So with our thought, with our word, with our deeds, focus our intentions on our positive actions, our positive intentions to be one with the divine. Find that Sangat, those souls that will inspire you. Through the practice of the Shabad, keep the mind attached to the divine and simply reject anything that will take that peace away. Choose happiness now by choosing the divine now. I will now end Sangatji with the beautiful words that Bhai Sahib Bahadur Singh Ji shared with us once. They say this: my siblings of destiny, on this journey of life, what is written in your karma you will receive, as will I. When the time comes and the cloak of death will cover you, as it will me. What happens to this soul in this hidden universe, you will experience, as will I. Why the ego in your life, and why in mine? What arguments do we have with one another in this travel of life? As neither you will stay, and neither will I. In this drama of illusions, my siblings of destiny, what is yours and what is mine? Just the name of the divine is yours, and the name of the divine is mine. Just the name of the divine is yours, and just the name of the divine is mine. Bless you all, Sangatji. Thank you for your time today. Next week, we hope to speak more deeply, more practically with examples of how karma affects who and what we really are, its interplay with reincarnation and our spiritual elevation and the experiences that we achieve and experience in our daily lives. And with these words, Sangatji, I beg your forgiveness. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.